What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the No World Order Podcast IG Live Edition. It is Tuesday, June 9th, 2020, and right now we are waiting for Zach to pop on in, and looks like he is here now. Let me see if I can get this going. All right, so we are adding Zach into here. Let me get my notes popped up. Perfect.
What up?
Yo, how's it going?
It's alright.
It's hot today.
It's fucking hot, dude.
Yeah. It's hot today. The virus is going away. Looks like Trump was right all along.
Yeah, he said it was fake, right? In the beginning, he said it was a hoax.
Well, yeah, not only that, but also he said once summer hits, once the heat comes along, the virus will just pass. And now, all this is happening, the heat's here, and all of a sudden all these things are getting leaked out that, maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought.
I keep reading conflicting shit. It's so, it seems so poorly executed and communicated.
Yeah.
It was kind of going away, and it wasn't as much emphasis because of the riots and shit. And then now, they're saying, now I'm seeing it more. I'm seeing so-and-so state has the biggest surge in 3 months or whatever, and I'm like, I don't believe it. Just straight out, I don't believe it.
How can we believe it? How can we believe it when initially they said it doesn't, you don't feel symptoms for a week, 2 weeks down the line, and the protests have only been happening for a week or so, you know what I mean? So, and then you think all those protesters are out there getting tested?
Yeah, right.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and I saw somebody was trying to blame the riots now on Memorial Day, people going out on Memorial Day. And I'm like, what? So she was defending the protest, and no, we're protesting, that's all right, we're not going to get COVID. The COVID increase now is from people on Memorial Day. I'm like, you can't have both.
No.
Either it's fucking fake on both, or it's going to spread on both. It's not and even the news is saying gatherings no more than 10.
Yeah.
Still, unless you're protesting, then it's 100.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And people look at it, they're like, well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'm glad the coronavirus is making some headway and allowing for what? No, that doesn't make any sense.
And most of these protests have more than 100 people at them anyway. But also, I wanted to say, I was watching Steven Crowder the other day, and he had mentioned, how George Floyd had coronavirus on the third autopsy or whatever. So it's so he has to be ruled a COVID death, or we have to throw out all the numbers with those underlying symptoms or whatever, people who had other stuff, and then they just attributed it to COVID. And then, yeah, people won't do that because it's it kind of skews things in a different way,
That's where I'm at. Everything, I told my wife earlier, I was like, I'm done talking about COVID. I'm done with the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's obvious that it's a tool of manipulation against us. And the people that don't see it, I don't know what to tell them, dude. They don't want to see the facts. They don't want to, everything's a coincidence. That, they just don't want to look into it. They don't want to believe anything outside of what CNN's telling them.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking earlier, man, if I was in marketing, right, how would I get through to these people that are so just brainwashed by the media? And without the resources that the media has, I don't even know how to get through to these people.
Yeah.
Because the issue isn't, the issue is always the people at top, right? But the bigger issue, a more controllable issue on our side, is that more people don't acknowledge it and unite together.
Exactly. And that's my whole issue with getting into that kind of conversation with my brother, kind of pointing out that one, the two guys don't look anything like each other. And it's like, if we want real justice, that's what we have to be focusing on, not all this division, racial inequality, all this stuff. It's like, no, we're being played that way. It's like, we need to look at the bigger picture and be like, yo, start calling out. Why are you lying to us? Why is that not the same guy? Like, let's get down to the real justice and the real root of the problem. And we can make real change. But people want this fake change and this division, and everybody's talking now, but nobody's really focused on the real issues. But I know we had a few things we wanted to kind of talk about, so we're kind of jumping all over the place right now. I kind of have things laid out in kind of a flow of how I think it should go. So let's just start with the initial CDC thing. Like, I know just over the last couple of days, it's been kind of going around that they stated that it doesn't really spread easily on surfaces, but I just find it interesting that I've only been seeing this the last like few days, but when I looked up some articles, this was released like around May 20th and around that time. So it's taken a couple of weeks for some of this information to kind of formulate and become more mainstream. And yeah, it's just really interesting because they put people into such a scare, and you know, saying, oh, it can spread on surfaces, you gotta sanitize everything, and now they're saying that they've been saying for months that that's not the case. And yeah, it really confusing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, and nothing does. Like, nothing is like, the continuity doesn't make sense all around, right?
Mm-hmm.
This little bit of it specifically, I had read maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago about it. I failed to bring it up last week when we were doing this. But from what I have heard and what I was reading, the CDC wasn't like, they weren't addressing if they had changed it or anything like that. And people were like catching on like, wait. It doesn't really spread on surfaces. That's like not a concern of ours. When did that happen? And like no comment from the CDC. But I was reading an article by the New York Times, and they were saying like, oh yeah, the CDC's always kind of said this. And I'm like, well, of course, fucking New York Times is gonna agree with CDC. Like, they're all part of the same media machine. And then they try to make it seem like you're crazy. Like, it's always been like this. What are you talking about? You know, fucking gaslighting. But yeah, they said it not to really worry about it spreading on surfaces, which was one of the funny things, like one of the issues in continuity that we pointed out when this first started. Like, okay, I can go to the store to buy groceries still, but wasn't that touched by somebody? Wasn't all of this stuff touched by, like, why am I supposed to disinfect it when I get home?
Yeah, and then another thing, like at the grocery stores and all of that, like when you do the ATM machine, like, okay, one, they don't want you handling cash, but they put this little plastic thing over the numbers to push the buttons. Like, we're still all touching that same plastic. Like, what are we doing? Why not just have the plastic button still, and you're not sanitizing that plastic after everybody, so you would have more of an opportunity to actually sanitize the machine after every use without that like makeshift plastic wrap stuff that they have on it. Like, none of it just makes any sense. But also within this article, they also stated that it's hard to spread from human to animal or vice versa. But again, they made that a real scare with everybody, with having a tiger get it, saying cats can spread it. It was really weird how both of them were kind of feline animals. But also, does that dispel the bat theory of it coming from a bat, because it doesn't spread from animals, or it's hard to spread that way? Like, all of these are saying it's not, like, it still is a possibility, but from what they said from the beginning, they made it sound so intense and so scary, and now they're saying it's like, it can happen, but most likely not. It's very rare. So, yeah, I just find that interesting, how it all started from a bat, but now they're kind of saying, no, it's probably not really, you can't get it from animals, and yeah.
And of course, the mainstream narrative would say, oh, no, it doesn't spread from a live animal to a person, but if you eat the animal, then the COVID comes to the top and you taste it in your salivary glands, and then you yourself have COVID.
Yeah.
But we never found the person who actually did that first, and we don't know how the first fucking 15 people got it anyway. But don't question that. Just gloss over that.
Dude, so
Yeah,
also, what's that?
No, I was gonna make a joke about how at least with the little plastic covering on the debit card machine, like at least the machine is safe, right?
Yeah.
We're keeping the germs away from
Yeah.
the actual buttons on the machine, so there's one less COVID victim right there.
Exactly. But also, again, in the same article, and then this will lead us into the next topic with the World Health Organization, but the CDC did state at this time that it still can spread through people who are asymptomatic.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but then, that leads us into the next topic.
Yeah, I read that as well, and I'm like, okay, so the CDC is saying one thing, WHO is saying another. CDC says it spreads even though you don't have any fucking symptoms. And a representative, actually the lady that's in charge of like the COVID, I don't know, fucking task force or whatever, said out of like 3 different trials they did, like it doesn't really spread like that. So if it's not really spreading on surfaces and it's not really spreading while you don't have any symptoms, then logically we can get rid of the mask thing, right? Unless you have symptoms, in which case they want you to stay at home. So really, we shouldn't be having the fucking mask, which is like, that's like my big thing right now. If we could just all agree, wear a mask if you want, don't wear a mask if you want, I would be okay with so much more going on. But it's such a fucking hassle to even go to the store because I'm one of those people that doesn't wear a mask. Like, if I cannot do it at all, I will not do it at all. Period. Just I don't want to, I don't have to. That's how it is. So okay, cool. It doesn't spread like this. It doesn't spread like that. I'm done with the mask.
Yeah.
And I don't. And then she tried to like backtrack it, and I think she said some. I think she said some truth, and then somebody somewhere was like, "Hey, you can't say that. Like, go back and say something else," because it was like, I think it was the same day she had said it doesn't spread when you are asymptomatic, and then later on she was like, whoa, let me clarify. And then she tried to backtrack it, but it still sounded like it doesn't really spread when you don't have symptoms.
Yeah.
Like her explanation just, for me, sounded like an explanation of what she had said earlier. So, and that's where it's like, obviously there's misdirection everywhere. And like Tripoli calls it non-linear warfare.
Yeah.
Where it's just like opposing and they throw it at you and then we fight and we try to figure it out and like, our energy is all taken up by that. But CDC says yes, the WHO says no, and obviously, I mean, we're not funding the WHO anymore. I think we cut our ties with them, thank you, Trump. But still, this is world news conflicting. So if you guys don't even know, why are you mandating us to all stay at home and fucking wear masks, do all the same shit we've been complaining about for 3 months now?
Yeah, and exactly. It's like people started realizing, this pretty early on, and it's like, man, we are America, man. We're supposed to have these freedoms. You can't really lock us down like that. Like, that's not right. And it's like, people were protesting and they had every right to do so. And it seems like those people were right. And it's like, I don't think anybody out there was saying if you feel unsafe, if you're sick, like, oh yeah, you have to go out, you have to open. I think a lot of people were trying to say, like, no, if you feel unsafe, if you are sick, quarantine yourself, stay at home, like, But for those who want to open their businesses and get things moving again, it's like, we should be able to. And it's like, those people are starting to be proven right, but there's been a lot of damage already kind of done.
Yeah, once they put it out there and they get the story out first, then they're right. Basically, there was a story released about hydroxychloroquine and how it was like actually really dangerous for people to take it who had COVID, and I was like, bullshit. And then I guess whoever, I forgot the name of the company, they kind of said like, hey, we found out the people who wrote this were backing it up with claims we can't substantiate as far as their hospital statistics, so we're not backing what they're saying. So basically, those fucking guys were lying. about hydroxychloroquine being like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I guarantee you, hundreds of people that were trying to prove to somebody else that it is dangerous cited that article, not knowing, oh, it was later not redacted, but basically proven that it wasn't based on anything scientific.
Yeah.
They're not aware of that update. They just go along thinking that they have the true story.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and so I didn't have this as a topic, but that kind of leads me into this other thing. I was watching again Steven Crowder. I really like his live streams when he does these like late night live streams. He kind of watches and live streams CNN to kind of hold them accountable, and like he'll bring up and fact check them live, you know what I mean? And dude, I was watching this the other night, and I was going through it. They brought up how Donald Trump tweeted out this like video, but it got banned from Twitter, and for some copyright issue or something, who knows what, you know, like they just pick and choose whatever they want to censor, it seems like. And then they played the video on YouTube, you know, because they were able to find the link or whatever, and they played it. And man, it was like such a powerful message, just addressing the George Floyd issue, just addressing police brutality, addressing unity, peace. Like, it was such a great message. And, you know, of course, Twitter doesn't want that going out to the people and letting that be spread around and stuff, you know. But so that video ended, and then is back to CNN. They were watching CNN, and Don Lemon gets on, and he straight up says something like, and can you believe the president can't take 5 minutes out of his day to address what's going on in the country? And it's like, bro, I just saw a video of him addressing everything going on. It's like, you wonder why you get called fake news. You wonder why you have this stigma about you. It's like, I literally just saw a video, and you're going to come on TV spreading this lie saying he didn't address it? And it was like a powerful, powerful message. I encourage everybody to watch it, even if you like him, don't like him, whatever your thoughts on it. It's a great message regardless.
Right.
And they said he didn't address the issue. It's like, how can they say that, man?
And the people that don't like Trump are just like waiting to hear that. Like, yep, he didn't address it. He didn't address it. Not my president. No, Like, and instead of just like, oh, let's take a second and see, like, just fucking Google search it, see what he said, see if he addressed it. He's not gonna not say anything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Well, like, he has to. That's his fucking job, whether it be good or bad, or you like what he says or you don't. And like, I'm not a Trump supporter necessarily, but isn't he pretty like friendly with the black community? Like, hasn't he been trying to do shit specifically for the black community since he's been in office?
Dude, even before that, I took a screenshot of everything. I wish I laid out all those facts. I didn't even know we were gonna get into that, but they were like, for being a racist, he has done this, helped out this person, but like, helped out so much in the black community. I wish I had all the facts right now, but I literally just took a screenshot of a post today because I was like, that is funny. That's something I need to get around to posting, because there was like a grip of them. It's like, yeah, worst racist ever. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude is not racist, and it's like, that they've been just trying to go at him since the beginning, man. And that's really scary, because you're kind of seeing it kind of play out now with dude, I mean, I kind of wanted to get into this with the Vista protests. Like, I was watching some of their speeches and stuff, and there was like this black Muslim, I think he was like a pastor or something, and he straight up got on the microphone and told all these people there, and there was probably like 1,000, 1,500 people, and he said all the protesters that were protesting a few weeks back, you know, the ones who had their AR-15s, he called them all white supremacists. And that is just so insane to me, because there was definitely black people there, and these people, they were saying, oh yeah, and you know, those white supremacists, they didn't have the cops have tear gas thrown at them, or, you know, anything, any beatings or anything like that. But it's like, man, neither are your peaceful protests. I didn't see that at the Vista one either, you know what I mean? It's like, these peaceful ones don't. If you agitate the cops and throw shit at them, that's when it happens. Like, come on, man. It has nothing to do with race. But that's what just really pissed me off, because that's the message they're spreading is all these people, all these white people, especially who have a gun, you're going to be labeled a white supremacist. And I wasn't protesting there at the time, but it's like, I would have been out there. I don't have a gun. I am cool with everybody. This was more to open up the country and open up businesses. But you're called a monster, and now we have these, hospital workers applauding the protesters out in New York, and, they're heroes, but the other protesters, they're white supremacist, evil people,
Yeah, I do. That pisses me off. Really, and I'm not even, you know what I mean? Like, I got Spanish blood, I got Mexican blood, allegedly there's a little Indian there, I don't give a shit, and I don't care, and I don't even my own blood or my own, fucking Mexican traditions and shit, I kind of am like, man, cool, it doesn't define me as a person what my ancestors did necessarily. If you go into ancestors, and it's like a whole nother combo, but I don't do stuff just because I'm Spanish or just because I'm Mexican. That's not how it works. That's not me. And it's interesting to look at right after 9/11 and a black Muslim talking about how white people carrying guns are being racist would have been that the dude would have been attacked. Not advocating for it, but just to show you this, how successful the U.S. military, government, media, Hollywood, and the Tavistock Institute are at brainwashing masses of people. In 19 years, probably less, they've flipped it. Now it's black Muslims calling everybody who's white with a gun racist, which is generalizing and not okay, and
exactly.
racist enough. And that's what bugs me. We're like anti-racism. Fuck white people. What? No, that's racism in itself. How do you not how do you learn about a subject and not automatically look at it from the other point of view? I think Earth is flat. How do I assert that, or how do I have any leg to stand on? Because I look at the fucking heliocentric model and I see the holes in that. I learned more about the heliocentric model and how Earth is a fucking globe trying to prove flat Earth than I did ever in school.
Yeah.
But these people that are just brainwashed by media telling them that if you're white, you're bad, are not questioning the other side. They're so close-minded when they tout themselves as the most open-minded.
Yeah, it's, when I heard that, it was like, I literally wanted to just walk away, but I didn't, because I wanted to hear everything. I wanted to stick it out, and, I was there to more observe, man. I wasn't chanting anything. I wasn't saying anybody's name. I wasn't, I'm not saying anything. I was there to just observe and just kind of check it out. And I'm glad I did, because I got to see what it was. I mean, I'll break it down a little bit. So it was in Vista. I showed up. It started at 11:30. I got there right at about 11:30. It was at the Civic Center, right near the library there, and then right down the street from that is the Freemason Lodge and building. So I just thought that was a little interesting connection. I guess I would say there was about 1,000 to 1,500 people, and then we walked a few blocks to the movie theater, that park across the street from the movie theater right there, and that's where they had the speakers and everything. And most aspects of the speeches were good. They were talking about peace and wanting all this, but again, within those messages, a lot of it was lies and false statistics and just fake lies, and that's what just really was bothersome. And it really did seem like, even though there was a lot of diversity there, a lot of different people, it did seem like it was like an us versus them type of mentality, and this race type thing. Even though there was not a ton of white people, but there was white people, black people, Mexican, every ethnicity, all races were kind of represented. We're a big melting pot here in North County, so we have like everybody represented, but it still felt like they just kind of wanted this division, and especially when that guy just straight up said all of those protesters carrying AR-15s were white supremacists. I could not believe it, man. I was like really shocked.
I'm glad I wasn't there because I would have outwardly booed him.
Yeah.
Maybe even try to start "you suck" chant. Because that's not okay. Like,
It's not okay, man. It was not okay.
And what is it that they're protesting? Are they protesting police brutality? Or are they protesting how black people are treated inequitable in society?
All of it now. It's all of it. But these are some of the lies that they were saying. It's like, dude, so percentages, I don't know. But nobody could tell you how many unarmed black guys, were killed in 2019. There was 9 unarmed black guys killed in 2019. White guys in 2019 unarmed, 19. And that statistic is way higher all across the board for years now. White people are killed at the hands of police, unarmed, armed, whatever, at such a higher number. It's crazy. Yes, there's more white people who make up the country. Can we really say that anymore? Like, we are such a melting pot here that, everybody is kind of mixed race for the most part, like I'm not even 100% white, and, yeah, so that's one thing that they just didn't address. They just say we're killed a higher number, but when you actually look at the numbers, white people are definitely killed at a higher rate, and police are 18 and a half times more likely to be killed by a black male on the job. Yeah, so it's like it's all crazy, man. Like, it's all, when you look at the true numbers, it's all like really, really crazy. But a lot of their issues, what I heard them talking about was the big thing going on across like the whole country was defund the police,
Yeah, it's interesting that that's what has come out of this. Like at first it was like, okay, the cops killed the guy in custody. Not okay, right? Obviously. And now it's evolved to George Floyd's family asking the WHO to like disarm the police. Like,
Yeah.
what? That's quite a big jump, number one. Number two, like, I'm kind of pissed off at everybody because I am constantly posting shit about cops abusing power.
Mhm.
And when it's white people, nobody cares. When it's people with special needs, autism, Down syndrome, schizophrenia, nobody fucking cares. Like, Kelly Thomas was a white dude in Anaheim that got brutally beat by the police, and then the police got fucking off. Minority police as well. I think it was a Mexican dude and maybe another Mexican or black dude. I don't know. But like that, and same bit. Like, this dude, I think he was schizophrenic. He was off his meds. He needed help. He was crying for his mom, and they fucking killed him. No one fucking cares. Nobody, you know what I mean? And why is George Floyd such a big deal specifically? Well, the cops killed him. Cops kill a lot of people. Well, he was black. Cops kill black people. You know what I mean?
But
like,
not even at that high rate that we thought,
But even if there's 10 in the whole country.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like,
Terrible.
But yeah, like, why him? Why wasn't it, like, there was a fucking Mexican fella, I think in Long Beach or Laguna Beach, who was killed at some point. He was kneeling down, he had a hammer, and the police shot him, like, fucking 10 times because they thought he had a gun. Like, number one, if you're a policeman, you should be able to tell the difference between a gun and a hammer. I feel like that's probably on the first test to becoming a police officer. What is a gun? What is not? Good job. You've reached the next level, right? Number two, if you're not sure, you don't shoot. That's like, I have been a gun owner for a short period of time, but I grew up in a military family where, like, gun handling was very specific. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things wrong about that, but nobody knows that guy's name. I forget his fucking name. But I know George Floyd's name, and I know the fucking Black Lives Matter crew is attached to it. And like, not to disagree with the sentiment, I agree with the sentiment. Yes, the lives of black people matter, just like the lives of white people, just like the lives of children just like the lives of fucking animals.
That's why I say all lives matter. I don't want to separate us anymore. And because, of course, dude, all lives matter encompasses everybody. So stop with the division, man. Like, of course, Black Lives Matter. That's why I say all lives matter, because it's like that's what some of the signs that I saw is like, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. Well, all lives matter. That's kind of what that is saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my opinion, and a lot of people get shit for that online right now. But it's like that's just my opinion. That's how I feel. I like saying causing that division is just. I feel like we need to get away from that. That's just what I feel. We need to stop separating ourselves, like, because we're all people, man.
Yeah, we do, and those division lines are placed intentionally.
Exactly.
And that's what I was saying. Like, it confuses the narrative, or it confuses the goal. Like back in, was it 2011, when there was like the 99% versus the 1% Occupy.
The Occupy Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knew. Like, I remember, because I was on the other side of shit back then, right? I was very blue pill. I was watching people interview some of these like protesters, occupiers, and they had no idea of what the overall goal of what they were doing was. What's the end goal? What's your fucking goal? Now, again, basically everything is marketing and selling yourself and selling your product. And if your product is a fucking paradigm shift, then that's what you're trying to sell. And having worked in sales, we have workshops on this kind of shit, and they have told us at different points to come up with like a fucking elevator pitch, like effectively and to where it draws people's attention. And it's not easy, right? Like, you have to come up with shit, say it the right way. You have to know your fucking audience. But these people walking around saying a bunch of racist shit in order to not be racist to a specific group, proving that they are being racist, have no continuity. And it goes back to the issue that I always fucking railing about and have no control over, that they're an organized lie and we're a disorganized truth because of these lines of division, because of Black Lives Matter versus White Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. Like, and it sucks because people don't want to admit when they're wrong either. Do you know what I mean? Like, I agree with the sentiment that all lives matter. Asterisk. Including fucking animals. Stop eating meat and cheese, everybody. It's not that big of a deal. You can give it up, right? And I'll catch shit on that too. I agree with the term Black Lives Matter. And I agree that at certain times, maybe the focus is more on one group than another. For instance, during World War II, we, as a fucking country, decided it was a good idea to round up everyone of Japanese American descent and put them into fucking concentration camps against their will, took all their fucking belongings. They fucking died. They did, you know, like, a lot of them couldn't even communicate clearly. And that's what we decided to do based on a racist fucking fact. At that point in time, I would say, yeah, you know what? Asian lives matter right now. This is the focal point. You know what I mean? If there was a fucking war and a bunch of Nazis took to the street and started killing black people for no reason, yeah, the Black Lives would matter at that point, for sure. You know what I mean? But, however, in this instance, I say, if George Floyd was actually murdered, which I'm skeptical on because that video looks weird, but if he was, I would say George Floyd's life matters, right? Like, we need to fucking recognize him. Sure, that's fine. But if our goal is to defund the police, then we need to, that needs to be the focal point. And that's what pisses me off. I'm not necessarily against, like, I'm all for protesting. Like, whatever it is, if you feel the need to go out there and wave a sign, fucking do it, dude. I don't give a shit if I even disagree with your sentiment.
Yeah.
But, yeah, right? But if you go out there, hold on, I lost my train of thought. If you go out there and, I lost it. It's gone. My rant is done. I can't remember where I was. What was I talking about?
You were just talking about the people kind of protesting, Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, thank you. I'm not necessarily against rioting, really. Like, I'm really not. I'm not against property destruction. And this is extreme, and I have to
stop you there. So what if I come to your house and destroy your property?
Well, I mean, that wouldn't happen because I have the constitutional right to defend my property with my weapons, and I would do so. But I would never it was coming with a caveat as well. I don't care about a Target. I don't care about a Walmart. I care about my neighbor's home. I care about my home. So I feel like there's an obvious line between corporate and personal as far as not being owned by an organization or a business. If you go over to what is like off Sycamore, there's that Target, the Walmart, fucking destroy it all. I could care less. Like, doesn't. What do I? Nope. But
I hate that.
I don't care about that. Like, I really don't. But if I were organizing a protest, and I'm not, nobody come after me. But if I were organizing a protest that I was planning on turning into rioting, not looting. I think looting's weird. But if I was going to organize it to turn into a riot, I would specifically target specific places and or specific items. And to kind of give an idea of not what that might look like, but a long time ago, there was like a kind of an uprising. This group kind of trying to not make their name known, but make their actions heard. The biggest thing you can do is vote with your dollar, right? If everyone stopped buying Coke tomorrow for a month, Coke would be fucking out of business, and that would really show the power of people, right? Then they would be at our will, period. That's just how it is. No one does that. I understand. But this group used specifically $2 bills, and the $2 bills got back into circulation so much that like it became an issue for the banks. And this group of people, I don't even remember what they were trying to do, but this group of people got on the fucking radar, and they started making waves just by using $2 bills, right? To kind of show how powerful your dollar is.
What do you mean by using $2 bills? In what way?
To pay for things.
Oh, okay.
They would go to the bank, get a fucking stack of $2 bills, and they pay them. And they brought them back into circulation to the point where it was like, the FBI was kind of like investigating, like, what the hell? You know, like, are these fake? You know what I mean? Like, they started to raise flags because they were voting with their dollar in a way, but they were like getting themselves out there. They were making waves. That's smart. That's intelligent. If I were gonna fucking organize a protest that was gonna turn into a riot, I would target specific things. If you're mad at the government, go after government buildings. If you're mad at the police, I wouldn't go after a police department. They're loaded. But fucking tearing down a small business, that motherfucker who killed the dog and then they hanged him on TV, you know, like, that's not behavior that's gonna help anything.
So,
and it's just gonna make your cause look bad.
So what I have to say to that is I don't really necessarily know how all of it works and where all of the money comes from, but there has been millions and millions of dollars of destruction, I think in like LA alone, from police vehicles and things like that. Where does the money come from to pay for that back? Is that on the taxpayers? Because if you're destroying this shit, it's still gonna come out of our pocket one way or the other. So what is it really doing? And we're just creating more of a problem on top of us when we do those things, when we destroy these buildings. Because honestly, like I said, I don't know where the money or the reimbursement, the insurance, whatever comes from. I don't know where that money comes from, but if it's coming from us as the people, man, that just kind of seems counterintuitive to me.
It's not, they'll say it's coming from us, but like knowing how the Federal Reserve works, it's not coming from us. You know what I mean? Just like they say they use our tax dollars to pave our streets, but there's fucking potholes everywhere and they're not keeping up with it. Like that. That's the lie. Like, we give our tax dollars and then the government takes care of us. That's not it. Like, it's the Federal Reserve printing fake money out of nothing, giving us monopoly money, giving the fucking police monopoly money to buy new cars. That's where it's coming from. And like, I don't really care. If we're talking about like police specifically, like, what, you guys need more money? Like, what, do you need another tank? Like, why? Actually, did you see that San Diego voted to give police like an increase in funds this year?
I think they had a vote yesterday. Yeah.
They had like 400 people calling into the Zoom and like emailing and writing to, you know, like defund or whatever, which is a whole nother conversation. But San Diego was like, yeah, no, we hear you, we see you. We're gonna give them more money anyway.
Yeah.
And police aside, racism aside, that is a great example of how democracy is fucking dying in this country. You vote for something and they say, no, we're gonna do what we're gonna do anyway. That is unacceptable. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, regardless of how. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, like, what's your thoughts on defunding or disbanding the police, like they're kind of talking about in Minneapolis? Because one, being kind of more libertarian, views, I can understand it, and this, I can understand maybe going to like a more community-based private security or something like that, where it's more actually community neighborhood based, where it's really small communities, make it more privatized that way, because they are taking up way too much of the funding, and then we're seeing way too many people in the force, in being police officers and stuff, breaking the rules and going over the top. Do you think they should get better training, better maybe have like an incentive bonus, where it's like then you cut the low level ones who have the most complaints, or do you just disband it all? Like, what is your thoughts on that, and how would you go about it?
Here's what I would like, and I don't know, I can make up the steps to get there, but I've never worked inside a police department, so I don't know how it actually goes. I would like for police to be like they used to be in cartoons, like an old 50s cartoon where it's like a policeman walking down the road, swinging his whistle, making sure everything's good to go. Kids can come up to him and say hi and ask questions, and people feel comfortable coming to him for help and shit like that. People are scared of cops now, whether it be legitimate or not. If you get pulled up, when you hear the sirens go off when you're driving, you immediately get anxious. Why is that? It's because it's psychological, because we're trained, we're told for whatever reason that we need to be more alert. And we see these videos of these cops doing stuff. We see videos of people dying, and we're conditioned to be scared, whether it's good or not. I think being aware is good. But I would like for cops to be a resource. I would like for them to obviously have more training to get into the police academy, more training with their firearms, more psychological evaluation, more training on how to deal with people with special needs and mental health issues. In San Diego, they have what's called the Psychiatric Emergency Response Team, which is a police officer and somebody in the psych field that comes out to help with what they think is like a mental health issue. So if somebody has a schizophrenic break, they're running naked down the streets talking about Project Blue Beam and how the aliens are going to come kill us all, but it's all fake. Hopefully, the PERT team will respond. I've seen it to where they respond and they're very helpful, and I've seen it. Like, I've seen the PERT team respond and be helpful and constructive, and then I've seen just police respond and escalate the situation to the point where they get to do what they know how to do, which is arrest or detain. You know what I mean? So I don't think the idea, I'm all about the ideal, right? I'm like, keep America first. Not how it's going right now, but the ideal. Freedom, love, humanity, working together. People from all over the world coming here to like make themselves new, bring themselves up. I love it. Let's unite. Let's be cool. I love it. I don't think the police should be disbanded completely, because, I mean, I'm obviously concerned about unemployment. Where are those guys going to go? You know what I mean? But if you look at this, if you look at some statistics, like I believe police officers beat their spouses more than even like the military, like 30 or 40% or something like that, like almost half of them, which means they're not happy. And if I don't give anybody advice about their job and they're not happy, how's they find a fucking job? Period. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, yes, cops fuck up. Yes, a lot of them fuck up. Yes, they're trained to trample on our rights at every fucking turn. And yes, they're trained that they can't rat out their brothers and they need to defend what their brothers did at any fucking cost. And yes, they take this fucking sworn allegiance that is to enforce the rules. And yes, federal court, federal judge, maybe Congress, ruled that it's not the police's job to like look out for the welfare of people, but just to enforce the laws. All those things exist, and all those things are fucking terrible. That being said, being a policeman is a fucking job, and I want everyone to be happy, well compensated, well trained, and well versed in all aspects of their job. So I would start there. You're not little military. You're not little fucking. Unless you are a detective, you're not a detective. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't be pulling people over fishing for shit to try and meet your quota. I know they do quotas. They need to get rid of that shit right away. You know what I mean? But I would focus on it as a job. How would you like to be at your job? Do you want to be healthy, happy, safe, and sane? If the answer is yes, and you're not, then something needs to change.
That's why, I mean, I heard it. I forget exactly where I heard it, but maybe it might have been Steven Crowder as well. But yeah, he mentioned getting better training, all that kind of stuff, but you know, making it incentive based where it's like the ones who perform higher get paid a little bit better, and then the low level ones each year get cut because it's like we only want the best of the best people. And you know, that's it's a really confusing thing for me because they do kind of trample over our rights, and we've seen it here with the protests, man. It's like they're doing things that is completely unconstitutional, and that's what really kind of pisses me off too, dude. Like, we should be able to peacefully protest any time of day we want. There should not be a curfew. It doesn't matter if it's nighttime. The whole purpose of a protest is to inconvenience people, is what, you know, people have stated in the past, is to kind of like inconvenience people and, you know, make their voice heard. And you know, for them to put a curfew on things and then really call it unlawfully assembly just because it's getting nightfall, like, I really do not agree with, you know, some of those things. And yeah, I don't understand how they're just kind of following orders. And then, dude, like, it is a crazy brotherhood because in Buffalo, when that old man got pushed down, and then those 2 cops got suspended, and then the rest of the 57 people resigned. The first time I read it, I was like, oh, hell yeah, they resigned because, like, because they saw it all going down, you know? But no, I looked into it more. They resigned because the 2 guys got suspended. And I was like, dude, how fucking dirty is this, you know?
And how many people was it that resigned? 57?
Yeah.
Can you get 57 people to agree on anything right now?
No.
No way.
Yeah.
So you're telling me there weren't detractors in there that are like, dude, I just like want to make my paycheck and go home and eat dinner with my family? Not one person objected. They all 57 were like, you know what? We're gonna fucking quit right now. Bullshit. People fucking convinced them to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, why are we not looking into that? Why
Dude,
is that not, like, that should be front page news.
Yeah, no, it is. That definitely should be. But it was funny, man. I saw Trump, I guess I didn't verify it myself, but I saw someone post it that he's calling that guy like an actor and maybe like a hoax. Like, he straight up called that guy falling down a hoax or something like that. And if you look at it, like, the dude holds on to his phone the whole time like he's still recording or something like that. So it's really strange. I don't know what's going on with that one, but yeah, I just did find it interesting how, you know, that whole force kind of resigned in unison in support of the 2 who got suspended. And now, you know, like in Minneapolis, where this kind of all started, they're really talking about, you know, completely disbanding the police. And we'll see what happens. I highly doubt that will actually happen, but, you know, we are living in 2020 and we are seeing a lifetime's worth of stuff, and it's only halfway through the year. So who knows what the rest will bring, man. I have no idea.
I think you have. I think we have some ideas. Have you seen that meme going around where it says like, "Hey, what's gonna happen next?" And it's like, meteors, alien invasion, Trump assassination, like just all the bullshit. I saw that Tropical Storm Cristobal is becoming an issue, and I'm like, oh, that's right. It's fucking hurricane season now. Yeah. So I'm sure there'll be like 2 or 3 freak hurricanes that fucking crash.
The biggest ever that have that this region has ever seen. California, it'll be fire season. There'll be massive fires. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely things to still happen for sure. I just want to let you know we got about 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were some of the other things? I know I wanted to talk about a meme that I posted that was inaccurate, but what did we miss anything else on our list, or
just the George Floyd tattoo. Just in the video, it's really hard to see, but I can't really comment too much on it. But it doesn't look like there's a tattoo. But every other picture you're seeing, he's definitely blasted on his chest and stuff. So
he for sure has an eagle on his chest, and it's not a dual-headed eagle as previously thought by some, which is good, because if it were a double-headed eagle, that's like a for sure trademark of the Freemason Brotherhood. But yeah, he for sure has an eagle tattooed on his chest, and in that video of him getting arrested by 2 different cops that killed him, I don't see it. And it's not the best footage, but I went back and forth and paused and like slow mo, and I don't see a fucking eagle tattooed on his, which is another question. And it's like he had it years prior, but not in this video where he died. And not to go too far into shit, but he was closed casket at his funeral as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So how, like, and I'm sure there's 100 reasons why it would be closed, right? However, there's also like negative reasons why it would be closed, in order like to hide maybe a truth or maybe a clue, or like it's very strange. Not to mention that there was more than 10 people gathered inside for his funeral, but people have not been able to attend funerals of their family members for the last 3 months.
Exactly. And some of these people who were there were like high-level people too, and it's like, yeah, what are we really doing? It's crazy. It's really crazy.
And what's weird is the picture they used for him, like, at their funeral, they have like a picture, was not a good picture of him. It was like one you see in the news and the media where he's kind of making a funny face and it looks like a selfie, and it's like not a good picture. I don't know why that was the one used. And then real quick, I got another one. Did you see that the Obama Foundation had posted, and I think I have a Mythbuster on this, but it was going around that the Obama Foundation had posted a picture of a protester holding a George Floyd face that said like "No Justice, No Peace" or something, or "Black Lives Matter." I can't remember. Like a week before George Floyd was killed. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. So Tripoli posted it, and I since then I've seen like a bunch of other people post it. And so I went to Twitter. I went to Twitter. I went to the Obama Foundation's Twitter, and I scrolled all the way back to May 17th, I believe, is when it was posted. And like, yeah, there's a protester holding up a sign with George Floyd's face before he died.
Wow.
But it was really weird. And everyone's like, dude, pandemic, like it's all fake, But that link from Twitter takes you to the Obama Foundation website. And other links that had been posted since then have that same picture and link to the website. So I don't know, I'm not a big tech person, but I don't know if maybe the link that they were using from the website, they changed the picture, and so it changes the old picture on Twitter. Is that a possibility?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I wish I knew more about tech and how the internet works and how pictures update from being changed and all that shit. I don't know. But for a second, I thought that they had put that picture up before he was murdered, in which case we would have had a game changer. Doesn't look like that's the case. At least I'm not sold. Which brings me to I posted a picture of Biden some years ago with a Klan member. Yeah. And they're like cruising in a parade, holding each other's hands, like all stoked. This dude, Bird, last name Bird, started a Klan chapter in his city in the 40s, ran for office in the 50s, and was a congressman until like 2010. Homeboy is like straight up started his local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, straight up racist, and then he spent 50, 60 years in Congress making the rules for the nation. You know what I mean? But anyway, the meme I had posted initially, I had seen it had Bird labeled as the Grand Wizard, like the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, which he was not. So then I had found another meme, just like in scrolling, that had him labeled as a KKK leader. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But what I failed to realize is that in the caption it still has him as Grand Wizard, which is inaccurate. And one of my friends pointed it out to me that I need to fact check. So yeah, Bird was a Klan member, probably still is. Outwardly, happily, proudly a Klan member. Made a bunch of laws for us while working in Congress, I'm sure, and was in a parade, it looks like, with Biden supporting him, holding his hand up. So going back to the manipulation and how they kind of created this black-white tension leading up to George Floyd with Biden's comment about if you don't know whether to vote for him or Trump, then you're not black, coming from a guy who's literally in a parade with a fucking Klan member, a highly notable Klan member, we'll say that. But yeah, the initial meme I posted was inaccurate, and there it is. Now fact check.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been seeing that picture floating around, and yeah, it's not good for Biden, but it just seems like nobody really cares because it's goes against the narrative, and you know, Trump's bad, you know, he's the racist one, but yeah, Biden's been in office been in politics and, you know, doing things for, you know, 40 something years or whatever, and what has really been done? What has he really done? And why do people think that it would kind of change now? I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't, and he's almost worse at public speaking than fucking George Bush, I swear. Like, that dude, Biden, all the time. Like, he has Bush mouth, man.
Yeah.
He has no idea what he's saying.
Yeah. Let me just get into this just real quick. We got like a few minutes left. So Ice Cube, dude, he's just been going so hard on Twitter, just calling everybody racist and all this stuff. And he posted something yesterday saying, everybody on the force that's out there hurting and killing our people, repent before it's too late. And then I caught that like really quick. And then I tweeted the picture of the Derek Chauvin from the video, and then the one of the old mugshot. Why does a cop have an old mugshot? That's really strange. And then I asked, is it the same guy though? And then with the two side-by-side pictures, and a lot of people, man, I got a lot of responses and a lot of like likes and stuff, like a lot of engagement really quick. A lot of people were like, no, it's not the same guy. But then there was some who were like, of course it's the same guy. Only idiots would think it's the same, or would think it's a different guy and stuff like that. And those people were really kind of mean and calling people names and stuff, when the people who were like, oh yeah, it's definitely not the same guy, they were like really cool and just really nice and just kept it short and brief. But these other people were like, oh, these QAnon people and these 4chan Trump propaganda. I'm like, dude, go watch my Instagram live. I'm not a truth guy. I'm not a Q guy. I'm not one of those 4chan. I don't know how. I've never been on one of those things in my life, but you get name called and labeled that just because you point out a different opinion. But that's all I wanted to say. It got a lot of engagement. It was kind of funny. Some guy blocked me for no reason. I didn't even keep going back and forth. I just said the one thing and let everybody else keep going with it. It is pretty funny. But yeah, make sure to go to YouTube/RealWord420. Check out all of the videos there. Tomorrow, Real Word Podcast. This morning was Tuesday Morning Tokes. And yeah, we're just gonna keep the content coming, and we have about a minute left. You can close it out.
I'm gonna do a little helter-skelter research because this whole thing is screaming Charles Manson to me.
Yeah.
Which I haven't explored a lot yet, but I think there's a lot for us to talk about there. I'm doing battle with some people on Instagram right now. They just won't leave me alone. But I look forward to doing this again next week, and hopefully there'll be something to talk about. I'm kind of tired about the protests and COVID. Something better. Something
I
more.
know all this. What's the next false flag that they're gonna throw at us? Like we're just
Bro.
waiting now, you know.
Oh no. I know.
It's like we're watching the movie and it's like, man, they gotta get on to the next season already.
Yeah, somebody said, hey, this season of Black Mirror is really good. Instead of putting it on Netflix, they're just putting us all in the show.
Damn, exactly.
I know. Perfect.
All right, man. That is it. You're killing it on this account. And until next time, everybody. Peace.